Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. We're super excited to host our first webinar of the year with one of Sable's primary partners in Canada, University. So a bit about who we are. My name's Cameron. I'm the Business Relations Advisor for South African region in Sable International. And what we do, and you've probably heard of us, is that we assist students achieve their international goals by going abroad and studying at their place of their primary options. So if we're looking at the top places, we generally see that we see a huge amount of students go to Canada. And we're so fortunate to have Nancy Mwita with us, who's the recruitment manager for Africa specifically, who'll be doing a presentation, just, answering some questions about studying abroad, but also specifically in terms of their institution, Ontario Tech, which is world renowned for their business programs, specifically for their computing programs as well. So without further ado, what I'm going to do is I'm going to let Nancy take over, give her the spotlight. She'll share some insight in terms of not just about Ontario Tech, but also about Canada as well, and all the benefits about studying in the beautiful country. So thank you so much, Nancy. I'll give it over to her. And yeah, please feel free to answer any questions in the chat. And yeah, looking forward to hearing from you. Thanks, Nancy.
Thanks, Cameron. Hi, everyone. As you've heard, my name is Nancy. I am from Ontario Tech University. And basically at Ontario Tech University, I deal with recruitment for African students. And I'm very excited today to tell you all about what we offer at Ontario Tech. And in just a summarization, we are a public university located in the province of Ontario, and we offer programs in bachelor. So if you're looking for your undergraduate degree or your master's degree, then Ontario Tech is the place. So in order to introduce all of you to our school, I would like to share a short video with you all.
You've got something special.
My friends and I just end up hanging around here.
There's so many clubs here on campus.
There's everything from rowing to anime.
It's awesome.
I came from Toronto and I didn't know what to expect. One of the cool things about going here is that when I get up in the morning, I know something's gonna surprise me.
It's not like any place else.
Seriously, how many universities have the latest tech in every program?
The professors are the best, not just in research, but in industry as well.
At this university, students are taught by senior faculty members who've been at this gig for a long time, who are very experienced in teaching and also excellent researchers. You combine that with the small class size and you've got something special.
My friends and I just end up hanging around here.
There's so many clubs here on campus.
There's everything from rowing to anime.
It's awesome.
I came from Toronto and I didn't know what to expect.
Oshawa turned out to be pretty cool.
It's great.
I think the coolest part of being an athlete here is how young the school is. You know, you look at a lot of other schools that we play against and they have such a deeper history than us where we're making history.
I'm now working for the Canadian Olympic Committee, and it's all because of the opportunities I've had right here.
The most important thing for me is building a sense of community in my classes. Every week, my students show up to class expecting to have fun.
There's a difference between science and technology. While science is this pursuit of truth, technology needs a conscience, and that's something we strive to provide at Ontario Tech.
As a researcher at the university, what's really exciting is that when a student comes to us with a dream project, we can really make it happen.
My partner and I are the world champions of Microsoft's 2018 Imagine competition because we developed a robotic prosthetic hand that's not only the most powerful hand that the market has ever seen, but it's the most affordable so that the people who need it have access to it.
If you've got an idea and it takes technology to make it happen, you've got to be here.
Fantastic. Thank you all for your attention. And now I'd like just to go deep into the presentation where we will talk about in details now, other than just the video that you've watched, because I like the video. It allows you to see what we really are about. And now I would like to take us through and start by talking about our undergraduate programs, and then we'll move on to our master's program in case anyone is interested in master's. So this here is a very small map of exactly where we're located. Canada is quite huge, divided into about 10 provinces. So we are in Ontario, and in Ontario, our capital city is Toronto. It's actually Canada's largest city. So you would be landing in Toronto, and then you take a bus, a 45 minutes ride, or a cab, and you are in Oshawa, where there's that little star. That's exactly where we're located. Oshawa is actually the #1 city for jobs right now in Canada. So it basically means when it's time for you to do your internships and things like those, or even just to look for a job, it's much easier in Oshawa than in majority of the places. So we are well known for our programs, all the way from our computer programs to business, IT. We're also known for our facilities. We are actually #1 right now for reputation. So in terms of rankings, you are looking at one of Canada's top 10 universities. And if you're thinking of coming to study in Canada, to a place that gives you value and it also gives you a future in your career, then Ontario Tech is definitely a school to consider. We offer programs across business to computers and technology, even education. Most people assume from our name with the word tech that we only offer tech programs, but we even have social sciences, we have medicine and health, we have science, and of course we have our forte engineering. So delving into the specific programs, what we offer in each of the specific programs, I'll start off with business. If you're interested in anything that concerns business, then we have what you're looking for. We have programs from accounting all the way to technology and management. When it comes to business, if you are considering a bachelor's degree, it's not a must that you have done business studies in high school. As long as you did math, then we can definitely look at your application. Then moving on to the next slide, we look at computers and technology. This is very popular because of our computer science program. So if you're thinking of getting into programming, into IT, you can definitely look at the programs that we offer. We have programs like game development. So students who are into gaming, then they can consider that. We also have integrated math and computer science. So all of these programs, software, technology management are available. We also have education. So if you're thinking of getting into the line of education, then you can absolutely consider any of these programs. If you already have a bachelor's in education and you're looking for an additional degree, then we have a 16-month program, the consecutive education primary or junior or intermediate senior, that is offered to students who already have a bachelor's in education. But if you're coming straight from high school or this is your first degree, then you can consider any of these other education programs that we offer. They run for 4 years. And then we go to engineering. Like I said, engineering is our forte. We are currently the 7th best school to study engineering in Canada. So that tells you a lot about our programs and also the future after our students graduate. And we have all programs starting from automotive, all the way to software engineering, electrical engineering. All of this is available for our students. And this run for 4 years is a full-time bachelor's degree. Then we have medicine and health. Under medicine and health, we have programs like biological sciences, even nursing. We have nursing where we get students directly from high school and come into our nursing program. We also have a pre-med program, which is specific now for students who want to get into the lines of medicine and become doctors or vet officers. They would get into what we call the pre-med program. And at Ontario Tech, what we have done is we have 6 specific degrees where students who want to become doctors or along those lines, they get into this. They take them as their pre-med option. And by this, I mean they study for 4 years as their bachelor's degree. For example, if you're taking neuroscience, you take it for 4 years as your bachelor's degree. You graduate, then you go and sit for an entrance exam into med school. In Canada, this is the MCAT. And once you pass the MCAT, then now you go to med school. So med school, if you don't necessarily want to study in Canada, we have partnered with schools in the Caribbean. So schools like St. George's Medical University, Sabre Medical, we have these 4 partners that you can see in front of you. So our students, after they graduate and sit for their MCAT, they're able to go into any of the partner institutions and study medicine there. It's at that point where now you're able to specialize, you know, if you want to become a surgeon or pediatrician, whichever line of work you want to take, you'll be able to specialize now at the medical school. And then you get to do your residency either in Canada or in the US, and you still get to work as well. All right, so that's for students who want to get into medicine. Then moving on to science, this is quite popular, mainly because of the Bachelor's of Science Psychology degree that we offer, as well as the forensic sciences and astrophysics, marine biology, we also offer that. So if you're a student who's interested in any of this or even math, then the science degree would be a great option for you. I must note that our science students also have the option in their third year to take a management program in business and graduate with a Bachelor of Science and Management, which is a great addition for them. All right, so there's always that option for our science students. Now moving on to our final faculty, this is the Social Sciences and Humanities. And here we have students who want to get into law, for example, or who want to get into the international diplomacy industry, then this is what you are looking at. We offer programs like a Bachelor of Arts in Psychology, we offer criminology, criminal justice, all of this in front of you. And especially for students who want to study law in Canada, they would come in and take any of these programs as a pre-law option. So they basically take, for example, political science, study that for 4 years, graduate, sit for their entrance exam into law school, so that's called an LCAT, then now move on to law school for 2 years, and after that, they can now practice law in Canada. So we offer all these options to our students, and I must highlight the fact that social sciences and humanities do not require math. So if your strength is more on the arts, in English is actually our main requirement, then you can look at the social sciences as an option. Again, these are degrees that run for 4 years, and our intakes are in September. So you would start school in September and, you know, add another 4 years until you graduate. And once you graduate, then you are eligible to get the postgraduate work permit. And basically, this means that you can stay and work in Canada for another 3 years. And, you know, within the 3 years, if you want, you can apply for permanent residency, or, you know, your work can sponsor you on a work visa. That will depend on what you would prefer. Now, one of the reasons for me personally why I would encourage students to come and study at Ontario Tech is the fact that all our students, doesn't matter what you're coming to study, whether you're coming to study humanitarian law, or whether you're coming to study software engineering, you are expected to take on work experience within the 4 years that you're there with us. And this allows you to network. Remember, your network at the end of the day is your network. And it also allows you to get a job ideally before you graduate. And we usually see about 85% of our students within 6 months of graduation, they have jobs. The main reason is because students really apply themselves when it comes to the work experience. So for example, students get to take clinicals, they get to take internships, they get to take co-ops as well. And co-ops, these are paid internships. And this is a really good option. And what happens at co-ops is that our students would take a full semester where they're in class. There's usually 2 semesters in a year. So you take 1 semester where you're in class, doing everything else. Your next semester, you'd be working full-time, 9 to 5, and you get paid every week. So it depends with your employer. You're getting paid anything from $300 to even $1,000. And we do assist our students to get these co-ops and internships and all these work opportunities, mainly because we have employer partners. So here is a very, very short list of some of the partners that we have. And I say very short because we have 384 partners, which means it doesn't matter what program you are taking, you will have an employer that you'll be connected to, all right? So our students have access to these employers through the partnerships that we have, and this will help them to get jobs, to get the work experience that they need, to network as much as they need, okay? So, and this is very, very key if you ask me as an international student, how you create your CV, your resume right from the word go when you're in your first year. And as an international student, especially to our parents, there's always a worry that you are in a new country, probably, you don't have any family, or this is your first time. And there's always the worry that how are you going to, fare? How are you going to cope and to deal with everything. So we have an international student services, a whole department that takes care of our international students right from the word go. You will have support even when you're still at home in your home country, where we provide you with academic advisors to guide you right from the word go, show you how to, set up your schedule, show you what your academic journey looks like. And when you get on campus, we have a team that is waiting for you. So actually what happens is that we connect you to 2 students who are already on campus, and they are able to show you around and be, just hold your hand until you get used to the area and you get to find your way. And you'll be shown the simplest things, but they make your life easy. So things like, how to use a bus, how to set up a bank account, all of those things, the team is there and the team will be able to assist you throughout. And I know the question of tuition and finances is always top of mind, key reason why decisions are made. So our tuition begins at 32,000 Canadian dollars, all the way to about 43,000 Canadian dollars per year. And you can see it's split depending on what program you're taking. So for example, if you're taking nursing, you're going to pay 32,000 Canadian dollars for an entire year. The fee, we don't expect you to pay everything at a go. Yes, you can, but you can always pay it per semester. So that means by the time you start school in September, you've cleared September to December that semester, your first semester fee. Then the next semester rolls around and you've cleared for that semester as well. Okay, so you need to consider that. And we also have accommodation on campus. Accommodation on campus is guaranteed for all our first-year students as long as you apply by the deadline. So like this year's deadline is June 2nd. So if you are thinking of staying on campus, which is a great option, especially if you don't have any friends or family around you, you can always sign up for any of these rooms. You guys can see there's a bit of difference. There's some which are more private than others. And the cost listed there is per year. Right? So yes, you get a roommate, but fun thing, you get to choose your roommate. You tell us the sort of roommate that you want, and then we match you up with someone who meets your specifications. We try as much as we can, right? And you can get on a meal plan or eat from the cafeteria or cook for yourself from your rooms. That's going to be up to you as the student. And the next big thing, always a good question, is do we have scholarships? The answer to that is yes. We have scholarships right from the point of application. So right now, when you place in your application, we review your application for what we call the International Merit Award. This is an automatic entrance scholarship where we look at your grades. If you have a B and above, or 85% and above, or a 5 if you're taking the IB curriculum, then we look at your grades. If you range within those areas, then we give you 20,000 Canadian dollars that is split between the 4 years that you're in school. So every year you'd be getting 5,000 from that. Then the other scholarship that we have is a bigger one. This is a Global Leadership Award. This is worth 120,000 Canadian dollars. And it's very competitive because it's almost a full scholarship for some of the programs, because the 120,000 is split between the 4 years that you're in school. So every year you get 30,000 Canadian dollars. So if you're a nursing student who's paying 32,000 a year and you get the scholarship, it means you're only going to add 2,000 on your tuition and your living expenses as well. So what's the criteria for the Global Leadership Award? Now, this award, we're looking for students, someone who've already been accepted. So that means you need to apply into whichever program you're applying to, whether it's engineering or business. Apply, get accepted, and then now you can apply for the Global Leadership Award. We're looking for students who are academically excellent. So you need to have, 85% and above, the Bs, the 5s, all of that, top performer. And we're also looking for a student who is doing volunteer work, community service. Are you giving back to your community? We're also looking for a student who has a leadership role. So are you a club leader, a team captain, school captain, class representative? Whatever it is, we are looking at your leadership skills or your leadership roles. So a well-rounded student is the sort of student that we are looking for that scholarship. The last category is our in-course scholarship. So these ones, we have several of them. And basically, this means that these are scholarships that we give our students when they are on campus. Okay, so this is during your first year, second year, third year, fourth year. So the first one is where we look at your grades at the end of your first year with us. If your grades range between a certain GPA point, because now you'll be measured using GPAs, you get $1,000. If you're in the next category, you get $1,500, like that. Again, purely merit-based. We also have a Women in STEM scholarship. So this is for our girls who are taking STEM programs. And for that, we look at your grades. It's within, you can apply from your first year. And if your grades are good enough, then you get 5,000 Canadian dollars. We even have a sports scholarship for, again, our students. So you have to be on campus, go for tryouts. For example, if you play soccer or you play badminton, go try out for the soccer team, get picked to be on the team, and then now apply for the sports scholarship. And if you get it, it's another 5,000 Canadian dollars for you. So there's various ways, in addition to the fact that you can work while you study. So students can work for 20 hours when they have classes, or 40 hours when you are on summer break. So in addition to the working, you can also apply for the various scholarships and awards that are available. Okay, so our application process is really, really easy. We basically, I think, let me start with actually what we need in terms of your documents, what we require. Because we only require 3 documents from you as an undergraduate applicant. We need your high school transcript. We need your passport or birth certificate. And then we need a letter from your school that just says that you're proficient in English. We don't require any test from you. So only 3 documents from you, and then there is an application fee of 100 Canadian dollars. So what happens is when you're ready to make your application, you can reach out to Sable, let them do the application on your behalf. You just send them your documents and then do the application on your behalf. Once you get your offer letter, because you can apply actually to 3 programs. So for example, if you are a nursing student, or you want to apply to nursing, and you apply also to health sciences, and let's say even biotech, right? So you apply to 3 programs, you get accepted to all 3, then you pick one. Once you've accepted your offer to one of the programs you had applied to, it's at that point now where you are expected to pay a fee deposit. And that fee deposit is refundable in case you get a visa denial. So it's usually 2,000 Canadian dollars, and it's also part of your fee. So if your total fee for a year is 32,000 and you pay 2,000, it means you only have a balance of 30,000, right? But the easiest thing to do is just to reach out to Sable, let them know you're interested in applying to Ontario Tech. They'll give you the full list of everything that we need, which is basically just 3 documents. And once you've provided that to them, then they'll be able to start the application on your behalf, right? So I've spoken all about our undergraduate program. If you have any questions whatsoever, please drop them on the chat so that I'm able to answer them once I am done with the presentation. I hope you have a couple of questions. So I'll go now to our graduate programs, our master's programs. If you're here, if you're interested in applying for our master's programs, we would be very excited to have you on campus. These are the programs that we offer. They are all course-based programs, which basically means that you do not need to find a supervisor. These are all the programs that we offer in engineering, education, business and IT, and health sciences as well. Our minimum grade, or rather the grade requirement, is a second-class upper or a GPA of 3.0 if you are being tested against 4.3. If it's out of 4.0, then a 2.9 is sufficient. Our intake is very similar to undergrad. We start in September. So like right now we're recruiting for September 2025, fall 2025. So this would be a great time to apply. Tuition deposit, same as undergrad, 2,000 Canadian dollars only. And in terms of the length of time, or rather the duration of the programs, all our programs, except education, run between 16 months to 24 months, which basically means that they are all eligible for the postgraduate work permit as well. So once you've graduated from any of these programs, you're able to apply for the postgraduate work permit, the 3-year work permit, and you're able to get that, all right? So in terms of the costs, what we are looking at, engineering programs all have the same cost of about 42,000 Canadian dollars. So that's automotive engineering. And then we have electrical and computer engineering. So if you're coming from a background where your undergraduate is in electrical engineering, or you're coming from computer engineering, computer science, you're able to get into this program. Then we have engineering management. So fun fact, as long as you have an engineering undergraduate degree, you are able to get into engineering management. So it doesn't, it's not limited, like did you take software engineering or did you take electrical engineering? As long as you have an engineering undergraduate degree, you're able to get into the engineering management program. Then we have mechanical engineering, also costs the same, 42,000 Canadian dollars for the entire program. This costs are for the entire program, not for 1 year. All right. So whether you finish school in 16 months or 24 months, you get to pay the same amount. Then there's nuclear engineering. We have software engineering as well. And this all go for the same cost, same length of time. And then when it comes to our business students, we have two options for our business students. So this is for both business and IT. We have business analytics and AI, which is MBAI. And this is open to students who are coming from a business background or an IT background. Okay, so this is what you're looking at. We don't offer MBA. What we have is MBAI, which is enriched with the STEM section of it. And this actually aids you when you are applying for your PR, for your permanent residency. So permanent residency it's point-based, and most of the time they look at if you have done a STEM program, you tend to earn higher points versus if you hadn't. So our business students get that advantage. And the cost for this program is 47,000 Canadian dollars for the entire program. The second program open to our business students, both business and IT, is the Financial Data Analytics, or MFDA. This also runs for 16 to 24 months. It's about 47,000 Canadian dollars for the entire program. Our IT students, there's Information Technology Security. This runs for roughly 41,000 Canadian dollars. Then we have education. So if you're interested in education, this is really a great option for you. Runs for 12 to 16 months, and it goes for about 27,000 Canadian dollars. What do we need in terms of documents? We really don't require that much. We need you to get us a proof of English proficiency. So just a letter from your school, considering you're coming from an English-speaking country, that will suffice. Or if you've done any English proficiency tests, it's okay. Tests like IELTS, IELTS, or TOEFL, we do accept those. Duolingo, we accept those as well. Then we need your transcript from your undergraduate degree. We also need your actual degree, the certificate. And then we also need letters of recommendation and your passport as well. All right, so very, very simple in terms of documentation. Send them over to Sable, and Sable will be able to do the application on your behalf. Do we have scholarships for master's students? The answer would be yes, we have scholarships. These are run by external donors. So a couple of them I've listed here. So you would need to apply into the program you want to study, get accepted, and then come apply for the scholarships. And we do have on-campus accommodation for our master's students as well. It is shared accommodation, similar to the undergrad one. But if you want to stay off campus, it's very much okay. It's not a must for you to stay on campus. All right. So thank you all for your attention. If you have any questions whatsoever, please put them down on the chat box. I can see several questions, so let me answer them. If you have any other, please just drop them there as well. So question number 1 from Vanelle, how to apply as an international student from South Africa. Vanelle, thank you for the interest. So all you have to do is reach out to Sable, let them do the application on your behalf. Okay, so you can just send them your documents so that you don't have to deal with the paperwork and everything. You will be in the loop, because as soon as we have your application, as soon as we get your application, you get an acknowledgement email that says that we have received your application. All right. So always I would advise you to do that. Just send them over your documents. It's really easiest thing. Okay. And then let me see. We have another question from Vandile. have already completed bachelor's degree in occupational therapy in South Africa. Would that be equivalent to the pre-med enrollment? Okay, so Bandila, what we can do is maybe after this, we can talk with Sable so that we can have like a one-on-one, look at your documentation and your grades and things like those, and then I can be able to give you a much more specific assessment, all right? And then there's Nandi. As a student currently studying the Cambridge pattern system, regarding documents with my IGCSEs and AS level certificates be sufficient for application? Yes, Nandi, you can absolutely use your AS level certificates, IG as well. Eventually, I'm assuming you're in your A levels right now, because eventually we will need your A level grades, but this too you can use and be able to get what we call a conditional offer letter. Basically means we will hold your spot until you give us your final results when they do come through. So yes, you can start your application with just this certificates that you have. Okay. All right, Nandi, regarding English proficiency, will English at the IGCSE level be enough proof of proficiency? Yes, so you don't need to take any tests whatsoever. Just let your school write you a letter and say that, you know, you've studied at that school for, 3+ years, just a letter from the school. No tests required. This is good enough. And then there is a question on scholarships. So Bandila, the scholarships are not fully funded. The scholarships, depending on what level. So I'm going to assume, yes, master's, because you have an occupational therapy degree. The scholarships are not fully funded. So some of them they will give you 5,000, others 15,000, 17,000. So I would say partial, but what I normally encourage students to do is apply for as many as you can. They're all external scholarships. Apply for as many as you can. Whichever ones you get, you can bundle them up. And in addition to this, you can still work. It's not enough to get you your tuition, but you can at least get a bit of pocket money here and there, in addition to networking and things like this. All right. So when it comes to finances, Bandila, what I would advise is always have your school fees, planned for. Whether it's yourself doing it or a guardian, always make sure that you have an idea where your school fees is coming from. Anything that you get additional it's great, but scholarships, you're never sure about them. A lot of students apply for them. You try as much as you can, but always plan for your finances. That's what I would say. A good question on that. Yeah. Right. So I think that was a final question.
So Nancy, do you mind if I just step in for a bit as well? I can also answer and just provide a different perspective, especially because we work hand in hand with Ontario Tech University, generally, as Nancy has mentioned. So what we do is that we will facilitate this entire process from, choosing the right course at OTU. So now Nancy had provided a very elaborate explanation in terms of the different courses that they have and, the entry requirements and how you can, just go about that. So what we do, so as the Sable team, the study advisors, what we would do is that we would look at those specifics, right? So we will, so just going back to Banela's question, so how to apply. So it's even about starting as early as possible, right? Because not sure the age group here, because we welcome everyone to even start looking at it even beginning of high school. So how to start is just getting those documents ready. You saw some of the list of the documents that Nancy, would like, and that's great because you're getting first-hand account in terms of what you would need. And it doesn't matter if it's Cambridge, it doesn't matter if it's, it's a NSC, IEB. What we do as study advisors, that we will make that information a lot more digestible for you as the student. So it's just about making sure that you have the opportunity to book a consultation with one of our study advisors, and we'll take you through, because it really is, it's an individual journey. I'm not just, Nancy, you can speak to this. It's very individual for you as a student, and not all of the questions and the information will be specific to you. That's where we come in, and we'll make it so individual in terms of seeing what's going to be the best opportunity and what's going to be the best route for you to take, because everyone's journey is different. But that's where we come in, and just to streamline it for you in that sense as well. So I think there's another question at the bottom there, Nancy, that says, so when do undergraduates applications for 2026 open? So maybe Nandi, probably in matric at the moment. So yeah, if you can just elaborate a bit more on that, please, Nancy. Thanks.
Yeah. So Nandi, applications would start in September of this year. for you to apply and start school September next year, right? But what I would advise you is start getting all your documents ready. You can start by even sending them to Sable. Let them start looking at your documentation really early on, because what I see is that sometimes we really rush last minute. But depending on what you want to study, I would say the earlier the better, honestly speaking. Also because you need to factor in, you know, visas and things like those. So the earlier you start, the better. Yeah.
And then Nancy, you really highlighted a key area there. I'm not too sure if you can maybe, I wanted to say like bust some myths, because a lot of people, they're super excited to study in Canada, but then maybe they heard from a friend, they heard from someone who moved, oh no, the visa process is so extensive, you know, the borders are open, but is there anything that we can maybe put some South African students at mind, you know, peace of mind here? Because I think that maybe some false information going around in terms of the length of the visa and it's difficult. Is there any, you know, maybe just a bit of small like factoids of facts just about the visa process that you maybe just, you know, provide and share with some of the attendees today?
Absolutely. So yes, you're right. There's a lot of misinformation out there. And I even met a student who's like, Canada, you guys don't want international students anymore. But, you know, a lot of policies have changed, a couple of them in the past year. But to be honest, as an international student, most of those policies work in our advantage. So I'll give you an example. Early last year, the government said, you know, you can only bring this number or a certain number of international students into Canada, which brings the misconception that Canada doesn't want international students. But what that assures you as the international student is that whichever school that you get accepted into, you're sure you have accommodation, because the numbers are in tandem with how much accommodation a school has. So you're sure you're not going to go there, hassle and start struggling. You don't even know where you're going to stay, where you're going to start, and all of that. So a lot of misconceptions, misinformations are going around. But what I tell students is always talk to the schools directly, like what's happening here today. Let's talk, let's chat. Always go to the Canadian immigration website, get the information straight from the word, you know, from the horse's mouth, if I might use that term. But when it comes to visas, what I would advise is the earlier you start, the better. When the thing with visas is that because there are so many applications, you might think that, you know, they're taking forever. But if you start your application really early on, you'll get your visa accepted, really early. I'll give an example. For example, Nandi, you make your application, let's say even September, October, thereabout, right? Takes us about 3 weeks and you have a decision from us. So roughly by early December, you should have your offer letter from us. You make the fee deposit. Once you make the fee deposit, there's a document that the immigration requires from you. It's called a PAL, Provincial Attestation Letter. And this usually comes from the school. So we request our provincial government, so the Ontario government, to give us this letter. And this letter basically tells the province that Nandi is coming to Ontario Tech. So even when you get to the border where you need all the stamps and everything, they usually have a list of all the students per school. So they are aware that you are coming. So once you get that letter, you start your visa processing. In about 3-4 months, you have it, you know, versus, and it can even be earlier, because right now, 9 weeks in some countries, we're seeing 10 weeks, even 7, even in some other countries. So the earlier you start, the better, versus you running last minute in June, July, trying to get a visa for September, you probably not get it. So visas, the earlier you start, the better. And always work with an expert. That's what I'm going to say. Work with an individual who understands the system, who knows what is needed. So that's why I advise, go work with Sable. They are our partners. They know what we need, what the government needs, what immigration requires. They are on top of any changes that come. So always go to an expert so that you don't get a denial and maybe it's just a document that was missed out. You understand? So work with an expert, go to people who know, you know, what happens, and provide all the documentation, all the legit documentation that is needed as well. Yes.
I couldn't have said it better myself. Thanks. You know, and I think you highlighted a key area there, and I think, you know, especially with our expertise within the tertiary education space, but we're also experts within the visa space as well. And I think that's where it gets a lot more finicky, in the sense that we've got Nancy explaining, the full details about Ontario Tech University, and she's also an expert within the Canadian space as well. But it's about, going on that journey with a partner like Sable, because as Nancy mentioned, it could literally be one document or some form of type or something like that could alter the decision for your visa. And that's where we will take you on that, so starting by looking at your document. That's why even gathering your documents is so important, by setting up some time with by booking a consultation where you're setting a time with a study advisor, where we're able to with meticulous detail go through your documents to make sure that you have everything, because we know what the Canadian immigration government departments would look like. We know what sort of key factors that you'll need to take into consideration, financial, in terms of academics, in terms of times, right? Because it's always great to start as early as possible, just so that we can make sure that you've got all the right documents in place, so that when you start applying, it's smooth sailing, and you've put all your trust in us, because and with 20 years of experience within these spaces, that you're rest assured your application is really safe with us. So I hope that answers that question. And thank you so much, Nancy, just about the visa process. I just wanted to maybe go into a different area. You sort of, because Ontario Tech, it's sort of, people are going to start thinking the technology side, but I see there's 7 different clusters. So maybe just highlighting, maybe besides, you did what would be your flagship courses, besides just the IT. I know you mentioned the medicine partners, is there anything that stands out? And maybe in terms of what stands out for South African students, from what you've seen.
Yeah, so I would definitely put engineering top of the list. Our computers, IT programs, excellent. So are our business, very, very popular. Our business programs are quite popular. So those are some of the programs that we get a lot of applications to, but also upcoming, then we have our science programs as well. So programs like kinesiology, for example, they've always been there, but right now students are becoming more aware of the job opportunities available within that industry. So the sciences are also a very big hit. So I would say those are the top programs that we offer. But at the end of the day, one thing that Ontario Tech does when it comes to our programs, because we have over 120 undergraduate programs, Ontario Tech, what happens is we look at what programs are marketable, right? What programs will our students study for 4 years and be able to get a job, ideally even before they graduate? Because we don't want our students to start struggling and hustling, trying to find a job, whether it's within Canada or outside. So we look at that as a main factor to the programs that we have in our roster. So if something doesn't work out just for within our province or even within Canada, then we take out that program. So you notice that there are certain programs that we don't carry as Ontario Tech, and yet they are quite popular in other areas. Because like I said, Canada, really big country, right? 10 provinces. Each of those provinces has specific needs. So I'll give an example of mining. So you'll find certain schools in certain provinces offering mining or geothermal programs or things like those. It's because those provinces require those skills. Then when you come to Ontario, Ontario is very tech-based. A lot of industries have set up there. So companies like GM, for example, all of these tech companies. So the skill that is highly required or very popular is the tech skills. So that's why a lot of our programs are tech, and our most popular programs are tech and engineering as well. Yes.
Awesome. I also wanted to follow on from what you're saying in terms of, the work opportunities, and in terms of that it sounds like, when you're going to Ontario Tech University, you're really getting that, intense and personal interaction with the lecturers or the professors. Would you say that, what would the class sizes range from, would you say, in terms of
yeah. So our class size is very small, 21 to 25. I think 27 is the biggest class we have. One-on-one, yes, with the lecturers, absolutely. Another thing that we do encourage, Brent, is peer-to-peer tutoring. So you find other than group works. So I'll give an example, which was very interesting the first time I found out. Like our accommodation, so our students get to pick their roommates, right? But your roommate is going to be someone from the same faculty as you. So if you're an engineering student, you're going to have a roommate from engineering. Your resident assistant, the adult in charge of your floor, is also a faculty member from engineering, which also assists you and it helps you, like when you need to do group work, during exam time, or maybe you just got lost, it's your first week. There is someone to hold your hand and you guys get to, integrate and to help each other. So we encourage a lot of peer-to-peer tutoring. We have a lot of clubs also that are specific to the programs that we offer. So, and our lecturers, very interactive. I mean, we have a whole open door policy. So as a student, you not only have support from your lecturers, but you also have from your fellow students and even our international student services. So we are very keen on our international students and on how they perform, because we don't want your grades to go lower than the expected grade. We don't want you to, get into trouble with that or anything like that. Also because the scholarships are attached to your grades. So the international student services, we are very keen on how our international students perform. So you always have someone asking you, are you okay? Is everything okay? Do you need help? Have you tried this? Have you gone here? Our library is actually the #1 library for undergraduate studies right now. It's one of the best in Canada. Well, top of the game, So you have the resources at hand. You have them there. Generally speaking, once you come to Ontario Tech, academic-wise, there is really no reason to fail at all. You are well taken care of. Yes.
Well, sounds like the best of both worlds in the sense that you got a full library of information and the people to decipher it and help you with it as well. So that's great. I think, especially, speaking as a South African and a student, sometimes some might feel that when you're going into these massive lecture halls, you can be quite intimidating, and never mind that you're going to be an international student as well, going to a different environment. So it's very, it puts a lot of people, and myself included, at peace of mind that there's that support service. I also wanted just to go back on when you mentioned, like I mentioned, the internships, the work opportunities are very prime focus, getting people job ready, there's no use in having all this information if you don't know how to apply it. So I just wanted to maybe speak in terms of, so say now I arrive, at Ontario Tech University, are there maybe like working opportunities? What does the visa allow for? Is there something like that? Because as I can see, students are very incentivized to get involved. What about actual working opportunities on my visa? Is there something available? Graduate opportunities? What opportunities are there for South African students?
Good question. So I'll start with the undergrad students, yeah? So undergraduate students, you are allowed, your visa allows you to work while you study. So you can work for 20 hours when you have classes, 40 hours when you are on summer break, when you don't have classes. So Ontario Tech has gone ahead and provided work opportunities on campus. And when it comes to those work opportunities on campus, we give first priority to international students. So you would need to apply for this as soon as you get on campus. Apply for these opportunities. They are advertised. So you'd find yourself working like in the dean's office or cafeteria or library, any of those places. Just depends on what's available. They all pay different rates. So you also need to check and see who's paying more, where do I want to go, and such like things. But I absolutely love those opportunities because, first of all, they are aligned to your schedule. So you're not going to, start explaining to your dean that you have class and you can be in the office. No, they understand that, and also because they allow you to network. One thing with most of this, the lecturers and the staff, is they have connections with, the workplaces. And anytime they hear anything in their industry, especially if you're working in an office where it's connected to what you're studying, it's easy for you to always get, first-hand information, referral letters. Who's going to write your reference letter? It's those people who you're working with or for. So those opportunities are great opportunities for international students. If you want to work off campus, still very, very much okay. So you find some students going, taking their own initiative, going to find their own opportunities outside. Alternatively, you can visit our careers office or the international student services. Let them connect you to a workplace that is actually connected to your degree. And that's what I keep telling students. Like, you need to work on your CV right from the word go. Don't just go to McDonald's because it's right outside, okay? Go to the careers office. Tell them, hey, I'm an engineering student. Can you guys find me a job at an engineering company or something connected to what I'm doing? That way, you're able to put it down on your CV. And fun fact, like the students who take co-ops, because co-ops are optional, by the time they're done with school, the CV reflects a 2-year work experience, which is what you really want, especially if you want to stay over in Canada for the next 3 years and you want to work. You want to start working on that CV right from the word go. The advantage that our students also have is the fact that we have the partnerships, yeah? So we have all these partners, 384 partners. So you're bound to get, to get something. And we don't just throw our students out into the world. We actually have classes, co-op classes, where we teach our students how to write CVs, how to go for interviews, everything that would put them ahead of the pack. At the end of the day, we really want you to succeed at Ontario Tech. Oh, you're on mute.
Sorry. Yeah,
Okay,
noticed. But it seems, thank you for all the questions here, Nandi. Here's another one just saying, like, is there work in the lab for students interested in health sciences?
Yes, Nandi, great question. So we are really big on research. I should have started off with that. We actually have over 30 labs on campus. So even students who are taking something like finance have a lab. That's a fun thing. So we have over 30 labs on campus, 8 research centers as well. And since you're getting into health sciences, you will be able to do research work, independent work. You're also going to be doing clinicals, a lot of practicals as well. So yes, we are fitted for you to get into research work as well. So I really hope you enjoy it because we have a lot of that.
Yeah, sounds like plenty of opportunities, and keep those questions coming. We are nearing the end of the webinar, but I'm just going to keep it flowing. So I just wanted to talk a bit about, we've heard about Ontario Tech, but maybe we can just cycle a bit back for those, so sorry, before I get into that, I got Ketu Metse just says, I don't have any tech experience, but are there any opportunities for people in media? So I don't know if you can answer that, Nancy.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. So we have several programs. Top of mind is a program for creativity and media and technology. We also have one in entertainment industries. That's a very interesting one. And the reason why it sticks to my head is because you learn how to, vlog and do all of those things. So when it comes to media, yes, we do have a couple of opportunities for you. Communication is also available. So digital media is also available. You have several options. Absolutely. Don't let the name tech lie to you. Like, we have a lot of programs. Yes.
So I wanted to roll back in a bit about, just about the location, right? So you mentioned Ontario Tech Hub. I'm not too sure, maybe there's some sports fans in here, or maybe just like the surrounding areas, just cycling back when you wanted to mention about the town. Just that I think that a lot of, especially in South Africa, the type of experience, maybe not necessarily just the weather, but, some key highlights about the location and stuff like that, I think would be very helpful, just so that, we're going to this very supportive university with a lot of opportunities for work. But what sort of, what am I seeing on a day-to-day? Everyone hears about the cold weather, but that's standard. That's anywhere in Canada. We're not going for that. What else can you tell us? Just like little fun things about the study and then just the surrounding areas.
Yeah, sure. I mean, the cold scares everyone, I think, from coming to Canada, and the weather does get to the negatives for sure. But fun thing is we have tunnels between our classes, like between the buildings. So you don't have to necessarily be exposed to the cold. You can use the tunnels to move from class to class. And there's heating in all the classes, in all the rooms. So it may not be as warm as South Africa, but you'll be okay, I think, after the first experience. And it's a fun experience, especially if you go for ice skating and things like those. Fun experience. So the place where we're located, Oshawa, it's a beautiful city. Beautiful. It's not how do I say it? It's not overpopulated. So you won't have too many people. It's not overwhelming. You will have a very diverse community around you. So since we're in the province of Ontario, and you would land in Toronto. Toronto is 45 minutes away from us. So you have all the amenities that you need from the city, just 45 minutes. We actually have staff who stay in Toronto, and they do that drive in the morning to the school. So very close, you get all the amenities. But even around our school, around our campus, there's everything that you need. You will not be in lack for anything, including your spices as well. We have several shops that sell spices from Africa, so your food is going to be tasty as well, okay? So you get to do everything. You get to have new experiences as well, explore Canada as much as you can. Fun thing is that within the area where we are at, our students get to use, if you're using public means, you get to use your student card, and it's highly, highly subsidized. So when it comes to exploring, you can explore new areas as well. You don't have to be restricted just to the campus itself, okay? And there are people from different countries. Actually on campus, 75 different countries represented. So we have South Africans, we have people from Asia, from Latin America, literally everywhere. You will be able to find people that you can interact with and enjoy new experiences. Yes.
I actually didn't know. Wow. So just around the corners from, so you want to go see the Toronto Raptors, the Toronto Blue Jays, there's an opportunity there. But it's just so correct me if I'm wrong, Nancy. It sounds as if, there's, it seems like this is the student town. Is that a fair assumption?
Yes.
Is that
yes?
perfect?
You are very
Okay.
right.
Okay, so that at least, if you want that big city life, you have the opportunity, to go travel about 45 minutes. Maybe if you're from Cape Town like me, it's the equivalent to maybe just going just a bit out to some of the outskirts as well. So you've got the best of both worlds. You get to feel the go to Toronto, if not the top GDP, a top city in North America, never mind just Canada as well.
Yeah.
So you're really getting that holistic experience, which I think is very exciting. Especially speaking South Africans, as we know, you just be that what sort of experience are we getting? And it's refreshing to hear that you're getting a whole different dynamic in that sense as well. So we've got another question, Nandi. We really do appreciate the constant engagement.
Yes.
So and then we've got how can I ensure that my application is competitive regarding grades for health sciences and other activities?
All right. So Nandi, when it comes to Ontario Tech University, we mainly look at your grades. We are we're academic, so we look at your grades. So you just need to ensure that your grades are top tier, A student, B student, that's what we need, right? So as long as you have the combination, because you are looking at health sciences, you need to have your math, your bio, and your chem. Those are very, very key. If you are doing A-levels, I believe, yes, you should be doing your A-levels. Your English will take your O-level English grade. However, just make sure that the sciences and the math that you've scored really, really well. If you are thinking of applying for the Global Leadership Award, now that's where other activities come in. So your other activities like, community service, volunteer work that you've been doing, leadership roles, that's where now that comes in. And for that application, you'll be able now to really write in and show us what your impact has been in everything that you have been doing. So that's where now you really need to set yourself apart if that's your goal to apply for that scholarship. However, when it comes to your application, as long as your grades are really good, Nandi, and remember you can apply up to 3 different programs, then we will definitely be looking at your application. Okay, I hope I've answered that one.
And then we also have, Ketsamete, also keeping the conversation flowing, is that I currently hold a diploma in public relations and have 4 years of experience in digital marketing. If I were to apply for any of the media programs that Ontario Tech have, would I be able to be considered with my diploma?
Yes. So how it works is in 2 ways. So considering that you do have a diploma and 4 years of experience, when you are applying, you can request for a transfer of credits. Okay. So transfer of credits would mean you apply first into the program, let's say you're applying into the digital media program, you get accepted, and then now you provide us with your transcripts from your diploma, literally everything, including your high school grades, okay? And then now you request for a transfer of credits. We will need to see your course outline in details, your transcripts in details, all of that. Then once admissions goes through that, depending on what you've studied, what you scored, if it aligns with what we are offering, there's no need for you to repeat it. They'll be able to transfer, to give you a transfer of credits. I can't be able to tell, how many credits you get, but it depends with, your performance and what was offered. So that's the first option. The second option is I find some students who already have a diploma. They say, I don't need a transfer of credits. I'll just start my bachelor's degree right from the word go. Let's go for it. So you have two options, but if you want us to consider your diploma, it's very okay. It's very possible. We can absolutely look at a transfer of credits.
Great questions over there. We still got some time. We're not limited specifically. So if anyone does have any last minute questions, I've got some questions myself that might be beneficial for everyone. But just in the meantime, while we're maybe getting those last minute questions, if you look in, I've added some handouts, and one is the Ontario Tech University flyer. So please make sure to download that. It will also just give a summarized version of everything that Nancy has spoken about today, going into depth about the programs, a bit about Ontario, a bit about the region, a bit about Oshawa, the city as well. So please make sure you go download that. And then also what you'll see is the key offerings, and that is about Sable International and what we offer and what our services will include. So please make sure you can download those as well. Just gives an insight to both of our institutions and how we work together to really streamline that process so that you feel secure, you feel safe, so that you don't have to come with this idea. And I feel like it's very prevalent in South Africa. It's like, I can't do this, and it really goes down to is that if you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. And that's where we're trying to make it right for you guys in the sense that, we're there to guide you and find the best route for you, and that's feasible, and that's where we can help you, link you to universities like Ontario Tech University. We can streamline that, we can help you get there, because it isn't impossible. It's not the distance, don't let the distance, the cold, the visa, deter you. You're really going for a supreme experience in North America, in Canada, and I think there's just so many opportunities for you to do so. So I don't see any last minute questions, but Nancy, I don't know if you maybe have any last minute saying, anything else that you maybe want to recap from your side. I've pretty much thought of everything that I have, but if there's anything else that you can think of just before we end off the session.
I think we've covered pretty much everything, but I'd just like to say thank you to everyone who joined in. I really appreciate you taking your time. I know you could be doing other things, but thank you for joining in. Please do reach out to Sable, have a chat on what you're interested in, and I'm sure we have something for you. Yes, and I look forward to seeing all of you at Ontario Tech. Yes.
Yeah, and just a huge thanks once again, Nancy. We really truly appreciate taking your time to come and speak with the South African students, just sharing some information, and just really just giving us some hope about, opportunities and just busting some myths about studying in Canada. But just to recap on everything, guys, please make sure that you reach out to us and set up a conversation about, starting your application at Ontario Tech University. That's what we're here for. And what's awesome is that, it's not to say that your conversation ends with Nancy, because what is that I have direct line of communication with her. So, if you have something specific, I'm just a message away from Nancy just to answer those questions. So you're getting direct and clear lines of communication. So don't feel as if, you're asking her questions, getting lost in the wind. We're there to help you. So just Nancy, and to everyone who's been answering questions, everyone who's just attended today, thank you so much for your time. We truly appreciate it. So just from Sable, just from Ontario Tech University, thank you so much.
Thank you.